All right, this is going to be a different kind of a video than I'm used to doing. I had a question from Marcellus McDonald, 7254. Hope I said that right. Marcellus, Marcellus, Marcellus. All right, Mr. McDonald, Mr. 7254, whatever. Okay, jokes aside. The question was, do you have any videos about your experience from running your own shop? So I asked, I do not. What would you like to see? He replied, what were some of the challenges you faced starting it out and why you decided to go back to the dealership? All right, that tells me that he has maybe followed my channel and or watched some of my videos and seen the different backgrounds and atmospheres that I've been in, right? So if you ask my wife, I'm never happy and I'm always dissatisfied with my space in life. I always feel like I should be doing more. I can be more. I have what's called achiever's curse, to where when I reach the goal, it doesn't make me happy. So I decided to set my personal goal as just being the best technician I can and helping the people out with my experience and my knowledge the best that I can and share as much as I can with whoever wants to listen. There is no end goal to that, so I think that should keep me satisfied, right? So owning your own shop. When do you decide if I should work for somebody or if I should do it on my own? Only you know that. Okay. You know it in your heart, you know it in your gut, right? Um, what happened to me, I'll give you a backstory as to my progression and what happened, right? I've been in the dealership world since 2000. I've been to five, six different dealerships in my time in the last 22, 23 years. Um, and they're all the same to a point. They're all the same. Unfortunately, the stereotypes still ring true. Parts guys act like parts guys. Technicians that have been doing this for a long time act like technicians that have been doing this for a long time. Service advisors act like service advisors. Like whatever you think they act like, you're right. That's unfortunate and it's sad because they don't change with the times, right? Um, I left the dealership for probably about 10 years, and when I came back after having my own space and working from home and or doing side work or whatnot, um, nothing has changed. And that's a problem that I see with the automotive industry is not a lot of outside the box thinking. Um, I feel that if most of the employees that worked at a dealership had to be customers of a dealership, they would understand why customers don't like going to dealerships. All right. It's not easy to get into a dealership. Every time you call, you got to deal with call centers and or people that you're really not dealing with when you go to the dealership. Then you go there and you got to tell your whole story all over again to somebody that receives you with the car, and you hope that they get all your information right. Then the guy gives it to the technician. The technician goes, I didn't find anything wrong with it, gives it back to the advisor. Advisor calls you, say, come pick up your car, it's ready. You drive all the way down to the dealership to pick it up, and they didn't fix your issue because nobody confirmed that you was an issue. It's just, there's a whole lot of miscommunication that happens in the dealership world, right? So uh, when do you know when you should have your own shop and what are the struggles you're going to face? Uh, I also diagnose cars online. The only reason I say that is because I've met a lot of people that I've now built relationships with because they're all, we talk every week with a car, whether we just chit chat back and forth or whether they have an issue and I'm trying to help with the issue, or maybe they're bouncing an idea off of me as to what they think it should be and what my thoughts are on it, right? And the guys that are the most honest and the most truthful and have the most empathy for the customer, they're the guys not making the good money, right? Because you can't, it's hard to be honest in the automotive world and make buku bucks, right? Now, I'm not saying that guys that do make buku bucks are dishonest. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you take the customer's concerns personally and really try to understand where they're coming from and help them, you make decisions based on helping them out, which may not be the best decisions to help you out. That's one of the struggles I faced. I was lucky enough to have friends that had started out by giving me shop space, right? I've done Mercedes-Benz down here in the small town for so long that I built up, I'm not going to say a following, but enough clientele and friendships that when I left, they still wanted me to work on the cars, but I didn't have a place to work on them. I do some stuff at home. but there's a lot of struggles that you face with doing that. So when I had my own place, I'm not going to call it my own shop, but I had my own space. Um, you got to deal with rent. There's insurance you got to worry about. You're also the one man. You're the one man band. So what I'm trying to do is save customers money and make myself some money, but being in that window of I'm not charging excessively, I'm charging the right amount, but it's lower than anybody else because every dealership is about $250 an hour, which is insane, right? So when I averaged it out, what I was doing throughout the week, I'm the parts guy, I'm the advisor, I'm the parts runner, I'm the detailer because I got to clean up the car when it's done, right? I'm the porter. You're doing everything. So when I averaged out what I was actually making per repair, sure I can fix the cars fast and I fix them in one shot, no comebacks. I'm very good at cars, right? Um, but all the other things that it took to do it, you're not winning. You're not thriving, right? Now, on the offset of that is I can make the appointments as I want. I'm able to spend time at home with the kids, and go out on the weekends with the wife and stuff, and make the schedule what I want it to do. I can pick and choose my clientele. If someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I found this video on YouTube. I bought these parts. I want you to install them," and that's it. I say, "You're not the right customer for me. I don't want someone telling me how to do my job, right? Um, I know what's best for the car and the situation. So if you're not going to trust me with that, then I can't work with someone like that, right? Like I want someone to build a relationship with, and you bring me the car, and you just trust that I'm gonna help you out. It doesn't happen right away. It takes time, right? Couple, 2, 3 repairs, but uh, it's very. Everyone is so defensive about being taken advantage of that you really have to be a people person. The mechanics stereotype of the dirty guy and yeah, whatever, just give me the car and fix it and on blah blah, like that's got to change because people are very protective of their material possessions, right? Especially cars are a huge purchase, and nobody prepares for the cost of the repair. Nobody say, I'm not gonna say nobody, but in my experience, right, from what I've found, a lot of people don't understand what cars cost to maintain. I work at a Mercedes-Benz dealership. These cars cost a pretty penny to maintain. And when you take it someplace to try to save a buck, you end up spending double or triple because the people you're taking it to act like they know what they're doing and they really don't because the information isn't out there for them to absorb as to how to do things the proper way. So they're just going by, oh, a car's a car. Well, they're not to a point, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, um, I made myself more successful in the dealership atmosphere by meeting all of the customers whose cars I was working on. I don't call them Mr. and Mrs. Robinson. I say, "What up, Bob? Hey, Pat, how's it going? Hey, Mike, how the kids? How's the car?" Personal interactions, right? It's a huge part of this thing. I feel like I started the mechanic world, into the automotive world, learning about cars, and I end up learning about psychology and human interaction, and what emotions bring and feelings bring and vibes. You ever have people say like, "Oh, I'm not vibing with that guy." That's the thing. You ever look at somebody and walk in their personal space and be like, "I don't get something, just feels weird." That's a real thing. That stuff is real and it's out there, right? This whole um, uh, you can see people come in here in the dealership, never been here, but they're on the defense, and there's no reason. There's no reason why. It's just that stigma of going to a shop or a dealership. So for some reason, people have a bad idea of the dealership, but as soon as they hear an independent, they give them that much more credit, right? And it's insane to me because um, most times I see independent shops, they're people that did work at the dealership that felt they can do better than the dealership, so they broke out and they did their own, and they're usually good at what they do. Then there's the ones that never worked in a dealership or never worked in a mechanic shop and just started their own shop. Those are the guys that, in my experience, most of them make decisions based on money. When you make decisions based on money, you're going to fail. You got to make decisions based on doing the right thing, sleeping at night, right? My guy Chris in California, we go through this all the time. He's fixing cars that other shops are messing up and going to him. And then there's times he'll spend 4 hours on a car, and it's something in miscommunication between me and him that, he says, yeah, I checked it when you didn't check it, right? And then, like, how do you charge the customer when it's your fault? Yeah, you spent 4 hours on it, but you spent 4 hours on it because you weren't thinking. So those are the things that I don't charge people for. Like when they come through the door, any shop you go to, they say we charge you 1 hour diagnosis, 1 hour flat rate fee, right? Door rate fee. I don't set a clock for 60 minutes. I don't go by an hour diagnosis. I look at the car. If it's something I have to learn on, man, I'm gonna lose on that first car, But once I learn that system, I'm gonna know for the rest of the cars, and it's gonna make me the money in the future, right? So one of the struggles I faced was, going back to my original point, is you're doing everything. You're going to be the guy to do everything. Okay. It's going to eat up a lot of your time. So you have to make the decision. Can you make where you're at successful and work for you? Can you be successful and make it work for you? I made Mercedes work for me because my advisor and I, and my other coworker we had at the time, 10 years ago, we worked very closely with all the customers. We called them clients. We called them friends. We knew them by first name basis. They had our cell phone numbers, right? Like, people are always afraid to give out their personal information because they feel like they're going to be called every hour of the day. You're not. Most people are respectful of your time, and they just will ask a question to know, hey, should I bring it into the shop? Do you think this is important? When you give them that personal touch, that you can't buy that from anybody. You have to earn that. I was the guy that when Christmas time came and all the other technicians weren't working, I got presents on my toolbox. I got Christmas cards. We got chocolate. People were buying us beer and wine and stuff, and then bringing cars in winter to have us check it out before their winter thing because they want Lou to work on it because they know Lou. It's different when someone says, hey, my technician says you need spark plugs and transmission service. I don't know this technician. Why should I believe them? But if they say Lou said, oh, Lou said it, then I better do it because there's that trust that you build, right? So on one hand, if you think you can do a better job than the place you're at, and you can't change the mentality of the place you're at or change or help guide the guys that you're working with, it's time to probably go on your own. Just understand that it's going to take some work. It's going to take work because people are going to try to poach you to advertising, right? What you got to advertise. But to me, word of mouth is the biggest thing. You can tell people, hey, here's $50 off your next service if somebody else brings in this card with your name written on it. That way I know that it's from you, right? So word of mouth will travel. When someone knows that somebody can fix their car right the first time and they take care of them with the price and the right parts and everything, and they're not a jerk and you can talk to them, you can't buy that anywhere. Ask all your friends, who's your favorite mechanic? Nobody has an answer. It's very rare to get an answer. People usually just choose based on how easy it is to get in and what's the cheapest. And those are the two of the most worst things you can choose, right? So my biggest struggle was all of the time I was spending to work on a car. When I averaged it out, I wasn't making any money. In order for me to not only make money, but then afford the overhead and all the tools that I would need to buy, and get customer accounts or accounts with all these stores, and I try to pay as I go, right? I don't like to just have a big bill and at the end of the month I got to pay O'Reilly's and AutoZone and all this stuff. Um, it's I had to charge more than what I was comfortable with doing. Because then to me, it's like, I think you would come to me because you know me and trust me more than the dealership. But if the dollar amount's the exact same, why would you want to risk it with me? You know what I mean? Like, I can mess up your car one time, and if something went wrong with your engine, you can sue me, and I'm just a one man guy. I'm done. I'm done. That's it. You're done. There's, unless you're paying legal fees or have the money for legal fees, you're closing up shop over one engine that someone thought you messed up that maybe you didn't, but you can't win the lawsuit. You know what I mean? So there's things on the back end you got to worry about. The other struggles I faced was when I made my schedule what I wanted it to be by taking clients on appointment basis only. I was able to spend time with the wife and kids, but I wasn't making money. But when I'm at the shop trying to make the money and bring in cars and do it, it takes double the amount of time than just going to work. Okay, so if you don't have relationships you got to worry about and you have no choice, or not, now you have a good option just to go out there and work, man, I wish I'd have started it. If I would have started a shop, I would have started it in my 20s when I was a youngin, because by the time you get the experience in 10, 20 years in, you learn and you adapt to what you need to be, right? Like as long as you keep at it, you'll figure it out. You'll know what not to do. Hopefully, you'll learn what not to do and mosey to the way of how to do business. And the problem I had is, being in my late 30s to early 40s, starting it. Not that I feel it's too late, but I had to weigh, is it worth it to me now to do this? Because I'm already in my 40s, heading towards my 50s. It's going to take that much longer to build something. So my other option is to go someplace and make it what I know I can make it. All right. So I don't feel I gave up on it and I didn't quit at it. I just made a good judgment call as to whether am I going to have to struggle to find guys to work with me. So now I can sell the work for them, but then I got to pay somebody. Then you got to pay unemployment fees. Then you got to pay social security fees and all kinds of taxes on your employees, right? So now you got to charge extra for the shop, because now you're paying overhead. Then you're paying for an employee. Then you're paying for all the associated costs with the employee. Then maybe health insurance is involved. Then maybe they want a 401k. Don't you want your employee to have a future, right? Like 401k and stuff. That's a lot of things you got to worry about. So the option is either work for somebody and just know that you can do the best job you can, right? And then try to make your team work with you to treat the customer the best way you can. Two, go and start your own thing and just work at it and figure out the nitty gritty, and don't say no to anything. Figure out, how can I? Any scenario. Don't say no, I can't afford that building. Just say, how can I afford the building? Your brain's gonna help you figure that out. Or the third option is find a place that's already established. See if they want to sell it to you. See if you can buy in. Maybe go and franchise a Midas or a Meineke or a Jiffy Lube. Now you have your own business. A lot of expense up front, but if you know you can do the best job you can, and maybe you're a good leader and you can teach guys, that might be the best route for you, because you get a name that's already established, and then now you're just the guy that can make it what you want to make it, right? Because nowadays it's very hard to find employees. So the reason I went back to the dealer is I know I can do the best job I can here, and my clients would come back here, right? When they see me, they say, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're back. Please don't leave again," right? But there's some younger guys that have been working here for the last couple of years, and they don't have the Mercedes experience, and we're in a small town. So what they needed was somebody with all the experience to come in and help them, teach them, share the experience, fill in all the gaps. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this 20 years. One of the guys on my team has only been doing this for about 9 years. The other two are about 3 to 4 years max. So there's a lot of experience, or a lot of time to build up the experience, and a lot of failing that has to be done in order to know the right way to do it. All right. So I hope that I'm answering some of the questions you asked, Marcellus, because it's not scary to try to have your own business. It's kind of liberating and freeing. You just have to know that you don't know everything, and don't think that you do. And if you accept that you have to learn and you have to adapt, you can do it and be successful at it. I believe that if I'd have kept going with it, I would have been successful, right? The offset is my kids are young. My goal right now is so my purpose is to help as many people as I can, however I can. But my goal in my life is to spend more time with my kids that I didn't have as a kid. And it's very hard when I'm trying to do something and I don't feel like they're a hindrance. I just have to allocate my time accordingly, right? I don't want to say, sorry, daddy's got to work. Sorry, dad can't because of something else. I want to say, hell yeah, let's do it, right? So, in short, the only struggles that you're going to face is internally, okay, by going with your gut and knowing what you should do, but based on what you feel you have to do. All right. I did not go into debt to have the space I had. I had friends that allocated me space in their shop because they knew that I was good enough to work on cars. So I was working on their cars, and then the cars I would bring in, I'd sell them detail work for the detail part, and then the cars would come in to get detailed, and they go, "Oh, you guys got a mechanic on site?" They go, "Yeah." I go back and talk to Lou. So then I'd get working on the car. So kind of one hand washes the other, kind of like a one-stop shop. Cars would come in, and hey, we can get them detailed and fixed up while we're here. Why not? Why wouldn't you, right? Um, so I know that in time I would have built something great. I just had to make the judgment call on what is better: go to a place that's already established and make it better for people, or try to build my own over a length of time. So to me, it was a better option to come back to the dealership and not only help the guys that I really like and care for and help the clients, but I'm changing the stereotype of this dealership. Okay. I wish I could wear a body cam and show the interactions that I have with the people, because they're shocked that they come to a dealership and the outcome isn't what they expected, in a good way. A lady came in the other day saying, my garage door opener won't program to the mirror. I've tried it. I got the owner's manual. I'm not an idiot. It's not working for some reason. I said, all right, let's go outside and check it out. I go outside. I read the owner's manual. I said, wow, this is, in my brain, I'm like, okay, this is different than what it used to be. Let me just try it. Push the button, hit the remote, it programmed. I looked at her and she goes, you got to be me. You got to be, you're joking, right? It was that easy. I'm like, it was that easy. She goes, how much do I owe you? I'm like, owe me for what? I pushed a button. I'm like, go home, go work your garage door. She goes, I got to call the garage door company, because when I called them, I told them I'm probably going to go to the dealership. And the guy said, they'll probably just blow you off. And that's a shame, because what if he said that and then she goes, you're right, I'll try something else, and then didn't even give us a chance, right? This lady was cool. Came in, had an issue. I went out there, talked to her, fixed it up. No money was exchanged. Didn't even ask. Go on about your day. Enjoy your day, right? Those things happen all the time around here. People stop in with a quick question. And it bothers me when I work online and I hear people saying, I called my dealership, they wouldn't even return my call. They wouldn't give me the time of the day. And the way I consider it is, we're a problem solving business, and everyone outside here has a problem. So do your job, whether you're paid for it or not. You know what I mean? Like, take care of the people and it'll work out for you in the long run. I was very successful back in the day by just getting to know the people and taking care of the concerns, listening to them, paying attention, asking the questions. So um, you're going to know when it's time to do your own thing. If you feel it, that's a good inclination. Go with the gut feeling. But you also have to brain, body, mind connection. Like, you can't think you know it all and you think you can do better than somebody. You got to know that you're doing it because you do it, right? Um, I don't I don't think I can take care of people better than other people. I look at how I've been doing it, and that's my evidence. Going, man, everybody that comes to me leaves happy, even if they're angry and they come to me. By the time they're done, they're happy. I must be doing something right. Yet when I see them go over there upset, they still leave upset. I don't know what you're doing, but I don't think it's right. You know what I mean? That's the difference. The difference in thinking you can do it, but actually knowing you can do it based on actually having doing it, right? I'm sorry, the air compressor kicked on, so if it's loud, sorry about that. I'll try to edit it in post. But um, I was expecting this video to be 3 to 4 minutes reply. I'm looking at the recording now, and it could be 10 to 15 minutes. So if you're still with me, I hope there's some nuggets in here for you, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with working for a place. I don't think there's anything demeaning about it, right? If you know you're doing a good job and you're earning your pay by doing a good job, um, then there's nothing wrong with staying there and having a good, healthy career. But if you're trying to do your job and everybody else around you is affecting your customer base or clientele with their, it's just a job, who cares? I don't care what they say. Man, I don't want to listen to them. We'll just tell them whatever. We'll just sell them whatever. And you know that that's not right. And there are no other places around town that you can be, then go out on your own. Then you're going to be the most successful guy because you're doing what nobody else is doing. You're taking care of the people. Watch any self-help or inspirational things. Once you put out the energy that you're there to help others, you're gonna get help your own, right? So Marcellus, I hope this answers your question. Uh, I wouldn't worry about money. Worry about doing the job the right way and helping people. Okay, when you do that, the money will follow. Okay, I'm not rich by any means. I'm not well off by any means. I don't have uh, tens and thousands of dollars, in the bank. I don't buy nice things, but I'm able to take care of my family. We're able to have enjoyable vacations. We're able to do the things we want to do because I approach taking care of people. Okay, and I don't sell things that don't need sold. If I can't prove it to a customer in an owner's manual or a maintenance schedule or by showing them the failure, then it don't get sold. You know what I mean? Like all these flushes and maintenance things that people want to push. If I can't back up why I'm doing it, I just don't do it. If I don't make money that day, I don't make money that day. There's always another day. The car world goes like this, seasonal. You know what I mean? Depending on where you're at. I've always worked in the Midwest, so when winter comes, less cars, right? I don't know how it works in hot areas like Texas and Florida and California and stuff. I'm not really sure, but where I'm at, it's seasonal. So when I started taking care of the people on a personal basis, I'm busy all year round because people want Lou to work on the car. They don't want nobody else to touch it but Lou. And that's a good feeling, man. When someone comes in and requests you and wants to talk to you and just ask you how the day is, or let me show you. I look at the window over here, and someone looks over and they're waving at me. I'm like, oh man, that's neat, And everyone else is like, what are they doing in the shop? Hey man, well, I got one-on-one basis with my customers. You know what I mean? Like that's maybe you should do that. I ain't talking to people. You just limited yourself on how successful you're going to be because you're just worried about booking that hour in the car. You're not worried about who's driving the car. Some mom trying to get her kids to soccer practice, but the car overheated. All you see is, this job only pays an hour. You don't see, oh man, I'm gonna fix this so Emily can get the kids. You know what I mean? She'll be good. I'll make sure it's good. It's not leaking. Coolant's full. Heat's working. No big deal. I got you. You know what I mean? I'll take care of you. It's gonna cost a couple hours, but I'm gonna make sure I put in the extra work. And while I'm there and put air in the tires, the valve stem caps were missing, so I put some valve stem. And I topped up your washer fluid and checked the oil because I was already in there. Why not just make sure, And I noticed that your window switch was kind of loose, so I did let you know how much it's going to be. It's up to you if you want to fix it to your car. It's not safety anything, but just something I noticed while I was in there. Little things like that, man. Personal touches, things that you want people to take care of you on. Just think of how you would want your grandma treated if they went someplace, and if you do that, whether you're at somebody else's place of business or you got your own business, it's a game changer. It's gonna make you. It's gonna give you a good long career. You could sleep at night and you'll be able to pay your bills and enjoy some things. So I hope this helps. I rant a lot. My brain runs away with scenarios and stories. I'll try to answer more questions like this through a YouTube video because I do want to help, and if there's, if you got questions that you want to ask, by all means, you can find me on Instagram as well at MasterTechLou. It's very hard for me to do the social media thing because I don't like posting about myself and stuff, I do try to share some products that I'm about to review and videos, but maybe one day I'll figure that out. But again, that takes time away from life and working, Monday through Friday and some Saturdays. It eats up a lot of the time. This whole 9 to 5 work week, it's got to change, man. I'm not a fan of that. 4 10s would be nice, or 4 8s would be nice, right? But hey, appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this helped in some way, shape, or form. You guys take care.